So I think I'm going to start off with, I guess, the history of like how I got here. Not like birth, but my grandparents were really influential in my life. They actually raised me and my brother, and I watched my grandmother read the Bible every day. I know she came to Christianity like really late in her life, but there was one scripture that she made me memorize, and I didn't understand why, but now today I understand it more now, more so now more than ever. It's Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path or make all your paths straight. I think there's different versions of it, so. But I got to watch her and my grandfather, but more so my grandmother, really be in community in church and live out Christianity in a way that I never saw anyone do. And then I think I started to lose faith slowly as I watched my grandfather pass away from cancer. My grandmother and I were his caretakers, and I was probably sophomore or junior in high school. And then 6 years later, she was at a swim class and got out of the pool with a headache and said, I think something's wrong. And then she went into a coma. And I had to fly. I was in Spokane, Washington, and I had to fly in back to New Jersey. And I sat by her bedside for 2 weeks. And I was the one that had to decide to kind of pull the plug at that point. And slowly, the faith that I had in God was diminishing because I was having all these experiences that I didn't think that anyone should have or that I should have, for that matter. And so continued on with life, kept reading the Bible, kept attending church, and then I had some, I guess what you call church trauma. I was in a congregation that wasn't very supportive, and slowly again, my faith just continued to diminish. Fast track, maybe 6 or 7 years from there, I'm in my early 30s, and I meet the love of my life, as I thought, and we're engaged, and I have mahogany, or was gonna have mahogany. Found out I was pregnant, and it was like I was having these dreams, and then I started having these conversations with God about leaving the relationship and what I would do. And it was like, I'm gonna get an au pair, I'm gonna move to Austin. Never been to Austin, never been to Texas in my life. And I was like, I'm gonna get an au pair, and I'm gonna move there, and I'm gonna raise this child on my own and do all the things that I needed to do. Get to Austin and call an au pair agency, and they're like, hey, are you sure you can do this on your own? And I'm like, yeah, I think I can. And they were like, you really need a church community. You really need to get back with God, because she asked me about my faith, and she's like, you really need to get back with God. You need to have a church community. And I was like, no, I'm not really interested in getting back in church. I really don't want to be in community with anybody. I'm going to do this on my own. I don't need God. I can do this. And she kept insisting in our phone call, so she connected me to the North Church. And she was, the person I talked to said, you need to meet this woman named Darla. And I was like, okay, I'll meet with her. I said, I don't want to go to church. I don't want to hear anything about God, but I'll meet with her. And came out to church a couple times, met with Darla quite a few times. She kept in contact with me through my pregnancy. And then she was, as I started coming to church more, she was like, you need to meet Shay. And I was like, okay, who's Shay? So I meet Shay, and they offered to study the Bible with me, and I was totally open to that, and started doing Bible study with them. But again, was very, what's the word I want to look for? I was very adamant that I didn't want to go to church, and I didn't want to be in community. But then I started coming consistently, and seeing the community as a whole, just seeing how a lot of you were supportive of each other and kind to me and Mahogany and loving. And I saw God in a way that I never saw God before through your community. And it really touched me, and I was like, I really want this for me and Mahogany. I want this for our lives. I want God to be the focal point. I want him to be the Lord of my life. And that's when they mentioned getting baptized. Mind you, I've been baptized before when I was 11 because I saw my grandmother and her faith. It was like exciting to me. I was like, oh, I want to get baptized too. So I got baptized in front of our congregation, which was on a military base. And it was in like a dunking pool. Yeah, it was weird. But I got dunked and baptized at that point. But when Darla and Shay mentioned it again, I was open to it. We talked about locations. I said I wanted to do it in a river because I felt like I really wanted to have this supernatural experience and really feel God. And the turnout to my baptism was amazing. A lot of people from the congregation came. Maybe 10, 15 people on Zoom from my life from all over the country showed up for me. And it was just amazing. Again, seeing God work in ways that I've never seen him before. So long story short, I love the Lord. I'm blessed to have you guys. And I'm back in church. I read my Bible every day. I'm back in it. And there's like no better place and no better person to praise and love than the Lord. So thank you.